All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Fed Show. We are in studio. Thanks to Sam for from the Failed Podcast for making this work out today, and we got Johnny from the R.A.P Podcast, R.A.P Rhythm and Poetry Podcast in today, and on the Fed Show, this all started with me changing brands and switching over to facing/embracing demons, and you know, I've kind of realized that not a whole lot of people want to open up and talk about mental health issues and what they're really going through.
Yeah.
So the path that I've taken now is kind of, I'm going to have episodes like that, and then I'm going to have episodes that are just kicking back with the homies kind of.
Yeah.
Because I'm not rebranding again because that's too much.
Yeah.
And I do like to say stay fed at the end of every episode, and then I want to run some merch, like some athletic merch.
Oh yeah,
So,
that'd be perfect right there.
Yeah, I was like, stay fed. Like, y'all go work out and then also eat afterwards. So stay fed.
Especially like the mental health part of it, because like a lot of people work out to do for mental health or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. So let's get into a little bit about who Johnny is.
Oh gosh. Sometimes I don't feel like talking about myself, but hey,
it's part of the game.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. So your Instagram handle is 4JohnnyG, right?
Yep. It used to be 3Johnny.
Okay, what happened then? Did someone hack the account?
Yeah, someone hacked the account, and I was like, I tried to do the thing where you have to like show your face, but it wasn't working. So I was like, man, just screw it. I'm gonna start over.
Okay.
And so I just started the 4Johnny, and then added older posts and newer posts, and try to get more followers like that.
So what about Johnny G and 2 Johnny? Those were already taken?
I don't even remember. It was like I had made that as a YouTube account at first, and that was like 2009. So I don't remember why I put 3Johnny. I think I just put Johnny G, and that it was one of the suggested ones as 3. So I was like, all right, sure, click that one.
And now you're 4Johnny G.
Yeah.
Right, cool.
So I just added the next number.
All right, man. So like, we're gonna talk about some of your childhood and stuff like that in a little bit. But dude, where'd you grow up? Where are you from?
I am from Frisco.
From Frisco?
Yeah.
That's why you got the Dallas hat on.
Yeah.
That's why I had to wear the Fort Worth shirt.
Yeah.
To offset.
Dallas versus Fort Worth.
For sure. Okay, so you got the Metallica t-shirt on. You're on the Rhythm and Poetry Podcast. Dude, what's your music taste really like?
Is almost everything. Like for the longest, I didn't listen to a lot of country because, I mean, my family did. Like my mom listened to a lot of country, but me, I was not really into it. But it's funny because now I'm older and now I just love it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like I've seen like meme videos about it where like you're younger and you're annoyed with the music and you're like, oh man, I'm tired of this country music. And then finally, what's it called? You grow up and then it's like you're jamming out to it, doing little dances to it.
Yeah. No, for sure. I used to make fun of my brother for listening to Luke Bryant.
Yeah.
He was in the country way before me, and I was kind of just like, man, what is this dude listening to? And then I heard Jason Aldean, and I was like, all right.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I get it.
But
and
like that is like country, and then I like, I like some rock, I like some rap, I like some R&B. Like I think R&B is more my favorite out of everything, but I can just jam to almost anything.
All right.
Yeah.
Favorite R&B?
Like artist
or group, whatever. Like they, and I mean favorite, not like they're the best. There's
no, like
you
my
jam
personal favorite.
you could jam every day.
Oh gosh, especially growing up, I really was into like Genuine, and why did I forget the freaking name of the artist? He did like the song called Twisted.
I'm lost, bro.
And I forgot the other artist's name, but he had, it was like a 90s R&B artist. I can't remember his name though.
The other day I was someone posted, what's your favorite R&B? I responded, I'm corny, Pretty Ricky.
Yeah. That's funny, I forgot about Pretty Ricky. Like, sorry, I had got like one of their albums like when I was younger, and I was jamming to it every single day.
The one song that always stands out is that it's 4:00 in the morning,
yeah.
and it's like it's real sad, like, oh man, he's going through something. But that I really jammed that.
Yeah.
All right, man. So there's a little bit about you. Let's talk about the R.A.P Podcast. So how did it happen? When did it start? What?
I think I said this. I think with Sam's podcast, I had said, because Jay's the one that thought of all of it, and he just kind of included me in there, and I was like, all right. So he had this planned out for like years before he even actually started it. He already had he did the, I forgot the other name of the other podcast, and then he did that one first, and then he stopped that one, and then he did Workaholics. And so I started on that in Workaholics, and he was like, oh, you're starting to warm up to the mic and listen and actually talking more and have interesting thoughts and stuff like that. And he knew I was like into music, because me and him talked in music, because we worked together a lot, and we'd always be talking about music for hours and hours, because we're in a warehouse where we have to actually move around and like do stuff together. And I was talking to him, and he was like, man, I think I might need someone. Like, he needed someone for the R.A.P Podcast. He already had it planned out. And he was like, hey, what do you think about coming on? I was a little nervous about it, because I know music, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I could talk about it. And so we tried it out. We did like 3 or 4 episodes before we even posted anything. And we're like, all right, we like this. And then we started posting all the episodes, and then we just been doing it since then.
All right. So for a new listener, somebody coming into a podcast market,
Yeah.
how would you define the R.A.P Podcast?
It's more like we're like a music-based podcast, but it's not just informational. It's more of like our like friends just talking about music, basically.
Yeah.
That's mainly what it is.
Okay, so you and Jay are on there. Okay, but y'all's work schedules conflict, so sometimes people are missing.
Oh yeah, the reason that because at first, it was me and Jay, and we were doing it back and forth, and we're like, all right, we need to get some people on here. So we just started getting our friends on.
Okay.
And then Jay was like, hey, we should add more people to this. Like, it'll be more interesting. Like, yeah, me and him can debate on certain things, but some things we agree with each other all the time. And so we brought in our friend Antoine, and we brought in our friend Aramis. And they have even more knowledge on music, but different parts of music. Like, Antoine's more into like the 90s rap.
Okay.
And so he has a lot more knowledge on that. Aramis has like so much knowledge on rap than more than I thought, and R&B or whatever. And so we got them on, and it's been doing pretty good. And then the scheduling sometimes is like, all right, I can't do it this week, so you'll have to be off, and the other 3 can be on, stuff like that.
Okay, so when y'all blow up like real big, and there's $1 million deal from from Spotify comes through. Here's $1 million, guys. How's the split go?
I don't know. I would probably even do $1 million. Like, it would have to be a bigger amount. Yeah.
Like, we're not signing for that.
If it was $1 million a piece, maybe I could work with that. But if it's just $1 million to split, I don't know.
But you still got rights on advertising. They're just gonna distribute.
It just depends, cause like, I don't know. It just depends, cause I don't know. We would have to like really get into it, like really talk and sit down and be like, all right, how are we gonna do this? Cause I myself, I would rather be like, all right, we all get $1 million a piece, instead of, all right, we're gonna split $1 million, cause like that's really nothing. Like, yeah, it's $1 million, but it's really nothing when you break it down.
Right.
Like how rap groups and R&B groups break up because they have to split up all their money and stuff like that. So like I need to make sure that we're all good and not fighting over money, and then we end up breaking up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but I do want to give you one shout out on this, because there's a lot of local artists that y'all are reviewing their music.
Yeah.
And with the 3 or 4 person panel, you do get an occasional, I don't like that. I feel like sometimes when people review music and they're from an area, that everyone's like, oh yeah, man, that was good, man, I like that.
No, we try to be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I know, I've listened. Yeah. Bro, like God.
Because we're not gonna just we're not trying to like just make them feel bad. It's like, all right,
like, you did bad on this track,
but hey, I know you can step it up and you can be better than this.
Right.
So that's why like we give honest opinions.
Yeah, I mean it matters because I know like y'all did Kai Wood's song.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, bro. And
Yeah.
I was like, I told Kai, I was like, bro, did you submit your song? He was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Threstilo, I was like, bro, did you submit? He's like, yeah. I was
yeah,
like,
all like, cause Jay had thought about this idea of the local artist situation,
Mhm.
and then I was the one that, like, cause at first it was me and Jay, so I just told him like, all right, I'm gonna handle getting all the songs, whatever, and I'm just gonna have you have a first reaction, and mine will be my second reaction and my actual thoughts on it.
okay.
And so that's how it became like a whole thing or whatever. And that's how you like, if you see on every video, I'm the one that introduces every artist because I'm the one that gets the songs, whatever.
So what are you looking for when y'all review those music? Songs, sorry.
It just, for each of us is different because like I might be looking for their like how they sound, or somebody else might be looking how their flow is, or someone else is listening to like every single line that they're saying and like, oh, that was a good bar right there, stuff like that. It's just different opinions and stuff like that.
All right, man. So is there a SPM CD in your car right now?
If I had a CD player. But no, he is on my playlist.
He is on your playlist?
Yes.
What one, this is so random, but I did want to talk about this because y'all were talking about SPM.
Yeah.
So what album out of everything SPM put out is something that you could like, all right, this is the one that I could just ride around to?
Man, I don't know the names of the albums, but when I like the song I played on there was SPM versus Los.
That's on Never Change.
So it's probably Never Changed because like back in the day,
Screens Fallen is on that album too.
Oh yeah, I remember that song too. Yeah. So I think that was the one that I was really listening to at that time, even though I was still a kid. But
yeah,
I was listening to it.
Bro, how old are you?
I'm 30.
Oh, I'm not that much older.
Yeah,
okay, I still feel a little bit young.
Yeah.
All right, man. So that's the gist of the pod. What's next for the R.A.P Podcast?
Just keep on growing. That's about it. Yeah. Like right now we're just working on, getting more seen. Like, yeah, we're having fun with the podcast too, but yeah, we want to get to the point where we're doing it full time.
Yeah, for sure. What's YouTube look like?
What do you mean?
Okay, so I know y'all started the YouTube channel.
Yeah, we had started it. I just started it like a week or two ago, I think, or maybe even 3 weeks ago.
But you have full video of the podcast?
I do have full video, but the reason that we don't post a full video is because we play too much music on it.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna. So you
then
can do that on Spotify.
I was thinking, like, this is like for like if we do interviews and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Those will be like the main videos that we put out as a full video.
Okay.
But at the same time, I'm looking at the video too, and nobody noticed how small our area is, that our little room is, until you see the full video. Like, cause you just see like a piece of each of us or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of if I had a full video, it just looks like a small, like a little square room that we're in or whatever.
Yeah, I know the struggles of having a studio.
Yeah.
I don't have one.
Yeah, we don't either. We make it work or whatever.
So do y'all have a full, like, is it a dedicated room, or do y'all reset up every time y'all record?
Well, this is at Jay's house, and he does he cuts hair on the side, but he don't do it all the time, but he does it enough or whatever. So he has his barber area, and like this is a small room, so it's not really a lot for him to have it. Like, there's a little barber area, there's the podcast area, and then his desk.
Okay.
And that's it.
And that's it. So, bro, okay, this is kind of a personal question, but does Jay sell shoes too?
He's a shoe collector.
But he sells them sometimes.
He does sell them sometimes.
What size shoe does he wear?
He wears 11.
Dang. Never mind.
Hey, if I wanted to, I could buy them because we wear the same shoe size, but I just don't feel like buying them.
Okay, so y'all have chemistry. Like you said, y'all could talk about music all day.
Yeah.
So, how long have y'all known each other?
I think it's been about 9 years now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we just, like, at first, we'd known each other from work. And then
But were y'all like friends at work that never hung out outside of work?
At first, like for the first like 2 or 3 years, I think it was like 2 or 3 years, and then one day he was like, "Hey, I cut hair." I was like, "All right." I mean, the barber that I had was he had moved or whatever, so I was like, "Man, I'm looking for a barber anyways. Let me see what he can do." He cut my hair. I was like, "Oh, this is nice." And I was like,
Was
"All
it
right."
cheaper than your barber?
Yeah, it was around the same because at that time it was the haircuts were real cheap. They're not like how they are now.
Yeah, dude. I used to pay. A haircut was like $10.
Yeah, that's
$10.
like,
You gave him $5. You still
yeah.
walked
It was
away
like
with $5.
I think I gave him like $20.
He's like, "We good."
Yeah,
Dude. Now you could pay upwards $45, $50 for a
yeah,
haircut.
for real.
now.
And so like we started talking. Like you're sitting in the chair, so you're in there for an hour. So I would just talk to him here and there, and like we would talk about our personal lives. We'll talk about just other random stuff or some funny videos that we've seen or stuff like that. And so we got closer like that, and then eventually he started doing the podcast stuff. So I was helping him out with that for fun, and then eventually he put me on fully, and then we've been doing the R.A.P Podcast and the Workaholic Podcast.
So you like it?
Yeah.
You like talking into a mic?
At first I was like more nervous, and I was like more laid back, and I was like, all right, these two, because Aramis is on the Workaholic Podcast with Jay, and so they were already starting it. And so I just joined in afterwards. And at first, I would promote it all the time, and people would be like, "Man, you didn't really talk that much." I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm more like the producer and stuff like that. I'm the person that just kind of handles the show and stuff like that." And then eventually, like, I started talking more because I had more ideas for the podcast and stuff. And so I started talking. I got more comfortable when we started the R.A.P Podcast.
Yeah.
Because if you listen to the first 3 episodes, I could from the first 3 episodes to now, you could tell how different I am from on the microphone. Because like when I did the first episode, it was like, yeah, everything's good. Da, da, da. Now I'm more like talking and more normal, like I'm actually talking
in the conversation.
To you. Yeah.
All right, man. So let's talk about this pod war, this pod battle. Are y'all gonna release like a diss track?
You know what's funny? I was actually thinking that I was gonna tell Jay that, but I don't think Jay wants to, and I can't. I don't want to really do it either. I would have to have Jay like write me a verse or something like that, because
Jay's gonna ghostwrite
a
verse for you.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I'm not sure yet. But the way it started, it was funny because I actually the one that started it. So they had announced it on the podcast, on their podcast. So I was already watching the live when they announced it. I was like, oh dang, I did see, and I was like, I think that year before I had seen the TFTI do it with them too. Mm-hmm. So I was like, hey, this is our chance. We're over here, got this R.A.P podcast going. Let's see if we can start a little war right here. And so I just hit up Javier when he posted on his Instagram, like, oh yeah, we won, da, da, da. And I was like, oh, congratulations, but we coming for that number 1 spot.
and then Ejectocito came.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Jay told me not to post that, but I was like, this ain't it's serious, but it's not serious at the same time. This is more like for fun and games and like competition. Like me, like if we were to like see each other, it's no like beef or nothing like that. We'll be like, hey, what's up? How you doing? Like you did great on that video, or you said something funny. It's just fun and games to us, and we just. And so I was sitting there at work and I was editing that clip on my phone. And I was like, man, this is gonna be funny. And I played the whole thing back. I was like, hey, this is funny. I sent it to Jay, and he told me, oh, don't post it. It looked like we're being serious. I'm like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't look serious. I posted it, and then we got all these reactions from all these people.
I know I was one of them.
Yeah.
All right. So you're gonna go after Funky Panther and knock him out of that number 1 spot.
Yeah.
Why is R.A.P the number 1 podcast?
I don't know why we're the number 1, but we're just the number 1.
Okay. This is a serious note on.
Yeah.
So I had mentioned, I was like, bro, we should turn this into like a field day or something.
Oh yeah.
But dude, who decides the Fort Worth Magazine, how do they come up with these answers and these awards?
I don't even know.
I think that's the next step.
Yeah, you know what? When I told Javier, because he thought it was a good idea too, like for us to do the beef and stuff like that. He's like, I'm gonna show y'all how to like, because he actually enjoys our podcast too. He's told us and all this stuff, and he was like, yeah, I'll show y'all how to enter put y'all's name in, and basically so see if y'all can win, because like after like posting this, like with our podcast too, we've had the most like good response from it. It's not like I haven't had like a bad response at all. Like I tell people, I have even people come up to me telling me like, I tried to look for flaws in y'all's podcast, and I really don't see any. It's like y'all do a really great job with a lot of stuff that y'all do.
I think a lot of it has the background that Jay's did the Workaholic podcast,
Yeah.
and he had one before it.
Yeah.
So y'all have a very set, like outlined, like what we're gonna do next. Like
Yeah,
y'all
yeah.
do the intro, like how are y'all doing, and y'all have y'all's funny little anecdotes of
Yeah, yeah.
fantastic, tremendous,
Yeah.
or whatever someone says, and then y'all roll into okay the topic,
Yeah.
and then y'all do kind of veer off from the topic, but it still
Yeah,
kind of
sometimes- yeah.
stays in the conversation. Like the y'all made the bottom 5 list, which I don't think anyone's ever attempted
Yeah.
to do before. And I was like, bro, there's a lot of garbage rappers out
Yeah.
here. But and then y'all were like, no, not that we think that they're garbage, but not that they don't got hits. So there was
Yeah.
all these stipulations
Yeah.
that went into there. And I was like, well, I mean,
It was actually harder than we thought. Like we thought it was gonna be some easy like list where we're just like, nah, like, cause there's some artists like I don't like their actual their actual music because it's just not for me. But like for example, I was saying Megan Thee Stallion, like she's not like my type of artist to listen to.
right.
But she is a good rapper. Like you hear a freestyle from her, she does really good freestyle stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like doing the like WAP song, I don't care about that song like that. Like
I mean, but like that's one thing that I noticed with y'all's podcast when I listen, that it's like it's very intentional. Like y'all have y'all segments and y'all
Yeah.
roll through them, and then once y'all get off, y'all make y'all way back to the
Yeah.
topic. And then when y'all did beefs, I was like, oh man, they missed a lot of beefs.
oh yeah,
Like,
I know we
was
did.
like, y'all could do. They made like, remember those the DVDs they had back in the day? Do you remember?
I don't remember that.
So they had like the first one started out with Tupac and Biggie,
Yeah.
and then they had some of the New York beefs. Then they did one Ice Cube with NWA with the split,
Yeah.
and then they did one T.I. and Little Flip and the beef between Little Flip and Slim Thug
Yeah.
in Houston, and like they had like 7 DVDs of rap beefs.
See, I did not
and
know
they,
that.
And it was just people in the hood like talking to somebody like, what you think?
Yeah.
Like, nah man, he's better because of this, and
Yeah.
he's better because of this. He ain't got no rap sheet. And it was like it was just a rap battle, like a beef, but they took, like, a lot of people took it really seriously.
Oh yeah. And the thing is with that, like, people don't know this, but the way that we structure our podcast is literally, I'll have some topics. At first, like, the first couple episodes we had like our notes that we put together and have our topics. But now I might have like 3 topics and Jay doesn't even know anything about them. That day we pull up, I'll be like, hey, I thought of these random topics. Or I might not even say him, and he'd be like, hey, do you have a topic? Oh yeah, I got this topic, and we just freestyle from there.
No, but that's good because because I feel like if you told him like the day before,
Yeah.
then maybe he would be like, oh, let me recall some things, or let me look up some things that's not just common knowledge off the top of my head. So that does work. That's like the best podcasts that I've ever had. The most fun ones are when I've never met the person in person before.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we're just sitting down and it's
And
like,
just talking.
hey buddy,
Yeah.
like, I don't know you. Cool that you agreed to this.
Yeah.
So, and then like, and the other ones that are really good for me are the ones that they are good friends.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, hey man, let's talk about what you got going on. And it's like, I already know. Let me ask about this now because I already know what you got going on. So yeah, all right, let's get into a little bit about you and the backstory. So I got DWI, and I'm rehabilitating myself to be a value member of society again with my breathalyzer, my car, and all that jazz. I actually had court today
Oh, dang.
And they were like, finish paying us money, now leave.
Yeah.
So, I clearly I was abusing alcohol.
Yeah.
And you've opened up and talked a little bit about it.
Yeah,
And
I
I just wanted to get I just wanted to ask some questions on that. So,
All right, go
out of
ahead.
curiosity, do you drink right now?
Like at events and stuff, I do sometimes. Not every time, but most of the time, yeah. But I limit myself. I'll be like, I might have two, maybe 3 beers, and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna stop. Or if I'm there longer than like 2 hours, I'll like do like 2 or 3 beers. I'll stop for like an hour or two to sober up, and I might drink like another 2 or 3 beers again, and then sober up again. Like I try to control myself, like when it comes to all that kind of stuff.
So when you were talking about SPM music, you had made mentions of your childhood and growing up,
Yeah.
and you had made mentions about alcohol and your father,
Yeah.
and that's the reason that I kind of wanted to know, because it's affecting my life right now.
Yeah.
But I'm in the other position. It's not my dad that's affecting me; it's me affecting my kids.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to ask you. So how has that played out for you? What have you taken from that experience?
How not to drink. That's one thing, is like, yeah, not how to drink, because like my dad would like abuse it to the next level. Like he doesn't know how to stop. Like he would just keep on drinking until he passes out. And it got to a point like, yeah, he even did it maybe like a couple, like 2 or 3 years ago. He had like a good, like the weird, it's so weird with him. So he'll do his old drinking thing, and I mean, I know some of the reasons why is some of his past too, and he's trying to like forget about it. Like, yeah, I understand, but you need to control yourself at the same time when it comes to that. Like he's like abusing it to like the next level. Like, so I dealt with it as a kid, and then I dealt with it as an adult. And as a kid, yeah, like how you were saying with your situation, he was doing that nonstop. He was going in and out of jail like almost every year, basically. And so, yeah, I know about the breathalyzer thing. He's had it in his car he's had it in like so many different cars that we've had. And I was like, man, I don't want to be like this when I grow up. Like everything that he did, I was like, man, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be abusing stuff, and like I want to be in my own, like I want to control my own mind. Like, when you drink and you black out, you're like, you don't know what happened.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah. like you said, like you'll wake up and you're like, how did I get in my bed?
Bro, I woke up in jail on a concrete floor.
Yeah, that too. Like
that feeling of waking up and just like, whoa, how did I get here? How did I get this bad? How did I let this happen?
Yeah.
And the days that I was free and clear, I would just go grab another beer.
Yeah.
And we made it out of last night, guys.
Yeah.
We're good.
And that's how my dad was doing too. It's like, oh, get out of jail and then, oh, let's go party. And I think another thing too is because him and my mom were younger when they had me, and so he was still trying to be he's trying to be his age basically. I think he had me when he was 19, so he's still pretty young, and so he's still like, he was already partying and stuff. So I never asked my mom like, I wasn't like I wasn't playing. I mean, they're still young when they had me, but I just like, I don't know. He just kept on partying and didn't want to stop.
Yeah. No, I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Not dealing with a lot of built up emotions and stuff. That's for the reason that I would abuse alcohol. And so you control your alcohol, your drinking, your intake right now.
Yeah, I try to. There has been times, I've gotten drunk, but I can't even handle it to that point. I'll just pass out. I'll get drunk and I like, oh man, I did too much, and then I just fall asleep. I never
try to keep going.
And I don't have the energy to get up and like, oh, I'm gonna go drive, or I'm gonna go walk down the street or something like that. Like I just pass out.
Yeah. No, I'm always curious because not a lot of people will talk about it. Like,
oh yeah,
the coming out of it. of the household, because like my dad still drinks. My dad's always drank, but my dad has never got a DWI. He's never been to jail. He usually would just have too much to drink at the house, sitting in the garage, and then he'd go lay down.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like, so in my head, I never really acknowledged how much I was drinking, because just what I had seen in the past was like, you can kind of just drink until you're done and then stop.
Yeah.
But I was at some points like, man, we ran out of beer. Man, what time is it?
Yeah.
Like, can we make another run? Somebody got like a bottle of whiskey in their car or something. Like, it's only 12. Like, we still got like 3 more hours before we actually gotta go to sleep.
And the thing is with him too is just like I said, he has phases where like he's like he drinks all the time, and then he wants to do better, and so he'll do better for a moment, and then something triggers in his head, and he goes back to the drinking again, and then he gets it, and then he's like the day that the one that when I was adult, he was drinking too much already when I pulled up, and I was like, hey, you need to sober up. Like, I still like, I have that feeling in the back of, in my mind, like the back or in my heart for him to be like, hey, I want to help you out, but I can't. And I realized that like I can't do that. He has to help himself out at one point, because my mom tried to help him out, it didn't work out. Our family has tried to help him out, it didn't work out. So like me trying to help out as an adult is not gonna help out either. And yeah, he wants to try to be in my life again, and he wants to basically forget about the past. I'm like, I can't forget about the past. Like, it's still in my head. I still, like, even when I was hanging out with him a lot, I would have like nightmares about him. Even though like me and him were like cool at that time, like I would have nightmares about him, like how he used to be in jail, and he like basically my dreams would be like he would be in jail and he'll break out, and then he's like destroying the city kind of situation. Like he's like a King Kong or something like that. And so I had those weird nightmares like that, and I'm just like, man, I don't want to feel like this no more. I don't want to be like having to worry about this dude. And like I feel like I'm trying to be his dad instead of him trying to be the dad to me or whatever.
So would you categorize y'all's relationship like on again, off again? Like,
yeah, and now it's to the point where it's just off right now.
It's just off.
Cause like I don't want to be older. Like I don't have any kids right now, but like when I do have kids, I don't want them to go through that. I don't want it. Like, say if he's in my life again, and then my kids are with him, and then he decides he wants to drink a lot and act a certain way. Because another thing too is when he drinks, he acts a different way. Like there's him, and then there's his nickname is Chubbs. So the Chubbs in him is just like a whole different person that I don't want to be around.
But you said Chubbs with the smile. Is it because of like a particular reason he got the nickname, or is it just? I
don't even know why he got the nickname. I'm just laughing because it is still a sad story, but I try to make jokes out of a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. Dude, I joke about this all the time. Because if you don't joke about it, like it's easier to make jokes about it, and I mean that's a defense mechanism for me, definitely. But like I'm not lying, like I'm not sitting here. I do laugh about it. My headspace is completely different now. Yeah. And if I'm not open about it, then I'm faking. Yeah. So yeah. So I talk about it, and like you said, like I make jokes. I crack jokes about it. My baby makes fun of me. He goes, ooh, every time. Every time you blow it. It's like, thanks, son. I really appreciate that. But I mean, who can I be mad at but myself? Yeah. Okay, so the dreams you mentioned with your dad as King Kong destroying the city, obviously that's trauma. Yeah. So that childhood trauma, like transferring it to as an adult, you were still having those dreams as an adult when you would see him?
I actually had him. I thought I would have him as a kid, but I have him more as an adult than I was having as a kid. Because there's more to this story of my dad, but I don't really want to air everything out.
Oh, that's fine. No, for sure.
But there's a lot of stuff that happened that is not just drinking. It's like there's more to it. Okay. Yeah.
So what things do you do like in your daily life now to help you kind of work through some of that childhood stuff?
Well, once I I'm just gonna mention my wife again. My wife really like opened up my eyes and like made me feel better inside as a person. Cause like at that time, cause like my mom and dad eventually got divorced, and I was really going through it. Like I was really depressed and stuff like that. And once, like even before I got my wife, there was like a like 2 or 3 girls. I'm not saying like I'm just like the player or anything like that. These are at different times, but they would want to try to talk to me and try to like, you know, be with me. And I'm like, I just had to like lie to them and say I had a girlfriend. Cause at that time I was like, man, I don't want anybody like around me like that.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to like see this depressed person of me and make them feel bad and stuff like that. So before I got with my wife, it was like that. And then when I got with my wife, eventually she like basically brightened up my world. And I just, if she wasn't there, I'd probably still be a little depressed, like after the situation that happened more recently or whatever.
All right. So what in that moment back then, what got you through? Did you turn to music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier, but yeah, that's what really changed everything for me is like listening to music and studying music. So I got that stuff out of my mind. And then, I mean, I said it on the R.A.P Podcast, I was trying to become a rapper and stuff like that. Because like I thought I was playing like, you know, songs would be on the radio and I would try to do a freestyle to it while the song's playing, and I'm thinking I'm this cool rapper. And so like when I put my mind to something, I'm going to do it. So eventually I had like this computer, and I didn't have a microphone like this or even like a normal microphone. I had the microphone on the computer.
Like on the webcam, kind of?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I had to be close to the little computer and like rap into that. And then, because there was a garage band on there. And so I would try to rap on there and stuff like that. And then eventually, my stepdad at the time, he had a friend that his son was rapping, and he had his old mic. And he's like, hey, do you want this mic? I said, sure. All right. And then so I kept on upgrading from there. And then eventually I learned all like for the podcast, the behind the scenes of like audio engineering. I think it was audio engineering, and then eventually learning the camera stuff and all the everything else.
All right, give me like 3 tracks that you remember from back then that helped like shape you getting through that and getting started into music.
Dang. It was more like, because it was early 2000s. I can't think of like tracks off the top of my head, but I did have like that Pretty Ricky album that I really liked. I had a Biggie album. I had a Tupac album. Like I had like, you know, I started collecting CDs. That's what it was.
When we used to have the notebooks.
I didn't have the notebook. I actually had like the actual cases. Like I had them just stacked up. Yeah. And
I had too many.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have money really to buy all these CDs. So like eventually once I got a job, I started buying more CDs until, you know, it died off and streaming platforms came out. So I have like I have a box full of CDs, but I don't use them. I don't have a CD player no more either.
Hey bro, I have a CD player. Oh, okay. So, all right. So do you remember the Lil Wayne mixtapes?
Oh yeah.
Like every other week.
Yeah.
And he was on other beats and all that.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I remember you could probably get a mixtape from Lil Wayne at least every week. Yeah. We used to go to Trader's Village just to buy the newest one.
You didn't get the bootleg ones that played like some, like it had a mix of like someone else's vocals on the beat?
No, I didn't get those. No, I never heard those.
You know they have those. Okay,
so the pod war is happening. So the podcast, the R.A.P Podcast. So are y'all going to start featuring guests?
Yeah, we actually have one coming up. It is a Fort Worth. I'm not gonna announce it yet. You'll find out when it comes out. It is someone from Fort Worth though. Okay. And we actually have 2 so far ready, and we have a third one that I just have to hit them up and be like, hey, when you ready.
Nice. So y'all are gonna start featuring guests.
Yep.
Y'all are in the middle of a podcast war, coming for that #1 spot.
We're waiting for the response though.
Waiting for the response.
We did a skit of Jay had came back from vacation and he had all these Avenger stuff. Like he had why did I forget his freaking name?
Thanos.
Well, he had the Thanos hand. He had the Guardians of the Galaxy. The main guy, his mask.
Oh, Star-Lord's mask.
Yeah, Star-Lord's mask, and then he had the Loki's like staff.
Oh, now I'm gonna want to remember this.
But we had did that skit, and people were responding to it, but they weren't responding to it. And then we were waiting for the because I posted it on the day of their episode that they do a live episode, and that live episode ended up being a guest episode. I was like, oh man, I should have waited. If I would have known they had a guest, I would have waited until the next week when they could respond to us, and we're just having a normal episode and they can respond and laugh about it and say whatever they want to say. Because the only response they did do was the first one that I did with the Ejectocito. Yeah, they had he had posted Tom Brady, but he put the Funky Panther on there and he showed all the wins that they had, and one of them had the TFTI one on there. I was like, oh man, and they tagged them, man, they messed up for that. But it was just fun. It was funny though at the same time.
All right, man. So we've talked about a lot. Any closing thoughts? The mic is yours. Promo reel.
Closing thoughts. I guess I don't even know. I can't think of nothing to say that would be something crazy. I wish I could just have this crazy mind, but I guess for mental health, if you're sad, depressed, and you want to try to get into music, not rapping or making music, more of listening to it or wanting to do stuff behind the scenes, look into it. There's YouTube for that. There's anything to really get your mind off of what you're depressed about, and that's much as I can say for that.
All right, and my suggestion on mental health: if you're going through something, talk to somebody.
That too.
Someone you trust, someone that you can laugh and joke with, someone that you can be serious with.
Yeah. Because
I think that's one of the things. As a man, I feel like we don't have a crew, a tribe, a gang, whatever you want to call your little group of guys. I feel like we all need to push the envelope more and try a little harder to have those groups, those guys that have your back, the ones you can call in the middle of the night to come help you change a tire because you don't have a jack on your car, or the guy you can talk to about whatever you're going through.
Yeah, me and Jay have that kind of bond together because we do talk about our personal lives and what we're going through, something that we might not tell our wives, stuff that we do tell our wives, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's a big one for just things that you need to have in your life.
Yeah.
And this podcast has kind of been all over the place. I feel like we were rolling, and then I feel like we kind of oh, okay, and then went into but I do appreciate you coming on. I do appreciate you opening up and talking about your experience with that.
Yeah.
And it helps push my mindset in the right direction of when I can drink again, should I drink again?
I think if you were to do it, you have to go real slow. Maybe only one drink, and then you're hey, I'm done. I can't do anything like this. Or 2 at the very max. I feel because you might... Cause I don't know your full situation, so you might drink more than 2, and then you're oh, I'm not feeling it yet, so I need to drink more. No, you need to just chill out.
Yeah.
So, because I hear your podcast all the time, so I just thinking of myself as a kid, and then thinking of your kids.
Yeah.
I know you don't want them to see you always in say going to jail or.
Dude, I blacked out at a birthday party.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm saying. drinking too much, and then they're just like another thing too is like, yeah, when you get really drunk, you start like, you go crazy, start talking loud, and
Yeah.
like, for example, my dad, when we went to a wedding, my uncle's wedding, he got super drunk with one of my cousins or other uncles or something like that, and they're like, doing the ceremony, and they're yelling out, saying some random stuff in the back, like, where I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's doing this right now. Like, this is like the most weirdest spot to be trying to do stuff like this.
Yeah.
So like, it's just like, you don't want your kids to see that.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm not gonna drink anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking maybe one at the house and that's it. Like,
yeah, like
if even that.
If you can, like if you're with like your friends or something like that, and you can trust them to be like, hey, like if they just watch out for you, like, hey, you've been drinking a little bit too much, like you need to stop, and then you're like, all right, cool, and then you chill out, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But don't just drink by yourself either.
Oh man, now we're going into the therapy session. Okay,
Yeah.
guys, we're gonna wrap this one up. Check out Johnny on social media for Johnny G.
And follow us on R.A.P Podcast, and follow the Workaholic Podcast.
All right, guys, y'all stay fed.
Later.